And welcome back to the Fashion Icon. Today we have an amazing guest, not only a friend, but Fatima Watson Coelho. How fancy. Anyway, she's a great friend. She is national director for several beauty pageants and stuff like that. And, you know, she's just going to share a little bit about how can you become a good pageant contestant and some of the tips that she can give about how to be the best that you can be. So welcome, Fatima. As always, a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about your journey so the girls know a little bit about you.
Well, my journey actually began here. It began here when I was 16 years old, and I am not embarrassed to say that I am 50 years old. So that was just yesterday that I
Happy
started.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I started my journey here. I have a very interesting story. I was born in Cuba, but I'm one of the rare ones that I was born in a naval base in Guantanamo naval base in Cuba. How I ended up being down there was because my father used to cross over and work as a mechanic, and when on the base, and when Fidel Castro, who was the president at that time, when he decided to close everything, they gave him a choice. They said, "You either stay or you go." And my dad chose to stay.
Smart move.
Very smart move. And then years later, he met my mother. My mother actually went to Madrid, Spain first. And from Spain, she was supposed to go into New Jersey. But the opportunity for her to go into the naval base, she ended up going down there, and that's how my parents met. And then here I am.
Okay. And how did you start into the world of modeling and pageantry?
Well, here's the thing. Growing up as a child, I would watch TV, and I would always watch beauty pageants like Miss USA, Miss Universe. And I remember there was one time on the base that there were contestants from Miss USA from back in 1987, because before, you know, many of the contestants, including Miss USA, Miss Universe, actually would go down there and make an appearance. And I remember when I was down there and I met some of the contestants, and one of the contestants that drew my attention was Miss Florida USA at that time, who was Chloe Cabrera. And what drew my attention with her was because she was the only one in the group that spoke Spanish, and she was Cuban, and she's Afro-Cubana like me. And I was just so impressed with her that I said, wow, one day I want to be just like her. You know, I was only like 10 years old, like 11, 10 years old. I was very young. But you know, you get so inspired because you're like, wow, one day I want to be just like her. So in the early 90s, we decided to move here to Miami, this wonderful city. And I always had it in the back of my mind that one day I want to do modeling. And then I met Baron in my first pageant, which is actually on my Instagram. And always remembering her, I always said I want to be just like her. So I took modeling classes with John Casablanca and Barbizon, which was back then. And then I did my very first pageant in 1992 when I was only 16, turning 17. And there was only 40 contestants out of the city alone. And in 40 contestants, I ended up placing in the top finalists, which I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like you, like I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing the best I can. But having your name called into the finalists out of 40 girls, I felt like a winner. I felt like, wow, I was being recognized because I love modeling. And then here I am years later. And every pageant that I have competed in, that same year I competed in Miss Cuban American, my first year. Again, I was a finalist. And one of the challenging things back then was I would be like the only mulata in the pageant. So I always found a way to stand out, you know, to be different. It's okay to be different. That's one of the messages, is to be different. You don't have to have the look like everyone else. Sometimes your look could be someone, somebody younger than you is looking up to you, just like I looked up to Miss Florida USA.
Right, to be genuine.
Yeah, to be genuine. And then I did some modeling, which I did. I remember that same year, and Baron used to celebrate his birthday, and there was a club, and I remember the name of the club. It was Club One.
Crazy birthdays.
And he always had a fashion show, but he always selected the models, and I was always one of the selected models to be in that show.
I mean, I tell people that, and people like, no, there's not. My birthday used to be like 2, 3,000 people
Yes.
in the best clubs in Miami, and it was not a birthday party; it was an event.
A networking event.
To be invited into one of my parties was like, and I was always, well, I still am, but a little bit of an ass. So it's like not everybody could get in. I would handpick. It was kind of like to be a model in my birthday, you had to do a casting because
Yes.
it was massive. There was a lot of celebrities. It was a big thing in Miami, and I had it, and she was, and one of the things that I liked about her was what she said. She was genuine. She was relatable, and she had her number one fan was her mom. Her mom was always there with her, supporting her, and that's one of the things that I really admire about all of you ladies here, that your parents are there helping you guys and guiding you, because that is the foundation, okay, that is going to be able to build something with it. So
Absolutely. And the wonderful thing about my mother was that she was always there. She always wanted to make sure that everybody that we knew that was also from Guantanamo, that watched me grow up, were there supporting me. And the most beautiful thing is that competing in a pageant, it takes a village. It takes a village to have people cheer you on. It's the most beautiful feeling. If you're nervous being on stage because you have all these eyes on you, when you hear your name being chanted, when you hear that cheer, trust me when I tell you, you're gonna feel so amazing.
And
You
what
have
are
a
some of
family.
the let's say the top 5 advices that you can give to a girl participating on a pageant?
The top 5 advice is number 1. When you compete for the first time, of course, we always have the intention that we want to win. I didn't always win every pageant, but whenever you do not win, don't take it as, oh, that wasn't good enough. Learn from it, because sometimes you can learn something that's going to help you for your next pageant. Because believe me, that first pageant, I was only a semi-finalist, but every pageant that I competed, I would learn. And I would become even a runner-up. And then in 2001, that's when I won Miss Cuban American.
Well, I always
And I learned. You learn every time. Yeah.
That's one of the
Yeah.
things that I always tell people. It's like what we think is a problem is an adversity, and
Yeah.
an adversity is nothing but an opportunity for you to get better. It's like a second chance. It is a lesson that we need to get to where we're going. So don't look at it as an adversity. Look at it as a second chance, as an opportunity for you to really do. So what other advice can you portray or give to the girls about how to become a better pageant
To
contestant?
become a better pageant contestant is know the pageant that you want to compete in, because not every pageant is the same. If you have a platform or a social project and you see there's a pageant that represents what you want, make sure you do your research. Make sure you do your research, because not every pageant is for you. Always, but it's okay to research and find a pageant that is for you. And definitely always look at contestants or winners of previous ones and learn from them. You learn from like your role models. Just like when I talk about, again, Miss Florida USA 1987, who ended up being first runner up at Miss USA that year. You learn how did they make it there, and that's how you learn. Always learn from the people who have been there, because that's just going to make it better for you.
What advice can you give about the girls choosing a dress for the pageant?
Choosing a dress. It is so important that you choose a dress that not only complements your skin color, complements your figure, but that you actually feel good in and that you can walk in practice. Practice makes perfect. Whether it's a long gown, whether that has a train, always remember to practice. Practice makes perfect. And it's also very good to listen to the experts, because you may see a dress and you may love the color, but that color may not be for you. Because you have to know your lighting. Sometimes a certain dress that you may see, you're like, oh my God, I love this pastel pink. But maybe that pastel pink color may not be the dress for you. So always keep your mind open and listen to the experts.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things that I've heard, in all of the interviews that I've done, it's pretty much color scheme is very important.
Yes.
Whenever I do the photo shoots and prepare something, I work a lot with a color wheel, okay? Because it's really, every color is not for everyone. Now, number one. Number two, if you're going to do a pageant and something that you mentioned that is so much more important, that I'm always playing with it, like wherever I go, if you're going to go do a pageant, buy the video or the photos from the previous year.
Yes.
Why? Because you're going to be able to see what she just said, okay? How does this color look on that stage?
Yes, the lighting.
I do a pageant that their background is black, and it's just like they don't have any real professional lighting on it, so the dresses are just bland. You only see what's in front of it. Some of the colors look good with a black background, but it just doesn't radiate. So you may want to choose colors that are really looking good on that stage. So that's very good. I'm glad that you mentioned that, Fatima, because it's really, really important.
It's
What
very
other
important.
advice do you have
It's
there?
very important. Like, perfect example. I'm wearing red today, and red is not exactly my favorite color, but I choose to wear it, which I mentioned to you. For the reason is because red is a color that represents my culture, Cuba. It represents the fire in me. And it represents so many things. As a woman, even wearing red lipstick, you can't go wrong with a red lip. No matter what, you can't go wrong. If there's a day that you can go out and you just don't feel like wearing makeup, because we all have those days, put on a nice red lip and you're good.
No, and
Yeah.
it's really, really important. One of the things that you can also do is just look it up. You can just Google it and say, give me the significance of these colors. Every color has a significance that it's already engraved in our mind, in our brain, and it will tell you actually what it represents and how it makes people feel. If you look at anything that is healthy, health related, you're going to find the greens, the light blues. Why? Because they're healthy, soothing colors. Okay, if you're going to go into someone with passion and authority and kind of like fire in them, you're going to go into the reds, you're going to go into the deep purples, and things like that. So color does make a difference. So study colors and what is best for you. What else do we have?
My final advice I would have to say is always project your confidence. Confidence is key. Even if you feel scared or you feel jittery in the inside, never project that. If you're walking, perfect example, if you're walking on a runway and you feel like your shoe came loose or your shoe came off, your face cannot project that. You can't project, oh my God, my shoe came off, especially when you're out in the public. You need to always, always have confidence and always be ready for that plan B. Like in many pageants, you can even look up on YouTube, many pageants, there's been girls who have come out, contestants who have come out in a pageant and they're walking and their shoe comes off. And there was one contestant in a pageant that her shoe came off while she was performing. And what did she do? She took off both shoes and just kept on walking. And the audience loves that. So always, always project confidence.
Yeah, it goes back to,
It goes always.
being genuine and being yourself.
Exactly.
So now finalizing, then I know that it's a short interview, but talk to me a little bit about the pageants that you represent and where can they get a hold of you?
Okay, the pageant that I run I have an organization that's called Nuestra Belleza Nacional Cuba. I created this pageant in 2021 with several franchises to have Cuba represented in several different international pageants. One of the biggest franchises that I run is Miss Earth Cuba, which is a preliminary to the Miss Earth pageant. It's an environmental pageant, and it's held in the Philippines, based in the Philippines. I am currently accepting registration right now, where the final competition is going to be held April 25th here in Miami. The winner will get to go to Miss Earth in November. And if you want, and also to find out more information about Nuestra Belleza Nacional Cuba, you can go onto the website of nuestrabellezaNacionalcuba.com.
And what's your
you can
phone
look up-
number, just in case?
And my phone number, you can also reach me at WhatsApp, is 305-753-1224.
And then we're just going to go ahead and put that underneath on the podcast, just in case someone
And I'll
has
say it
more
again, it's
information.
305-753-1224.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing a little bit
Thank
about
you.
Fatima's and her journey and all that stuff. As always, it's been a pleasure to have been working with you throughout all of the years. And I have seen firsthand how you've been able to empower some other girls in the various pageants that we do. So stay tuned. We're going to be coming back soon with another stellar presenter that is going to be doing a lot of great things that are coming up right now, not only from interview but photo posing and the runway. I know that you've been waiting for that. Stay fashionable. Imagine that you're at the pageant on the runway, and you go and you do it. Okay, just change your pose. Grab both hands on the jacket. There, turn around and face me. See? Show me those beautiful eyes. Grab to your pose. That's what it.
Hasta little baby.
That's right. And you coming on out of high.
Do the little
That's
baby.
the way you do it, baby. That's what we're all here. Okay? Now it's another accomplishment. that we're
Go.
doing. And you're out of there. You two should really be ready. That way, as soon as this finishes, you're already there. Get the hair back. Out of there.
Just kind of go with the flow. I just let my body kind of do things, and like if a lot of the times if I do really weird poses where I feel uncomfortable, I know that the pose is actually gonna look cool. Because usually the most uncomfortable poses are the ones that look like most like they're weird, but that's what pictures are for. Like, I don't know, in modeling wise, like pictures are always odd. You're always like in weird poses. I love doing those, especially. It's like my thing.
Most of the things that they go in and they'll have a girl with the hands on them.
I do that for more like
That is like nothing.
professional modeling, like pageantry picture wise. Obviously, then I'm more like T-pose and open and very like, but if it's high fashion, I'm more like throwing my body around type of vibe. I guess. I can't really explain it. You'll just see it, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so
High fashion first, or do you want me to do regular first?
just do regular and then just go to the high fashion. Yes, you're ready. If you notice, it's almost like the same pose, but there's minor changes with the facial expression, as well as the, the arm, the legs, and that's what we talk about when we talk about the flow, basically. And that's what we're looking for. You see, every time that flashes, it's just all of a sudden she's changing something, okay? And that's the flow. She's changing the expressions on that. The photographer needs about 2 to 3 seconds in order to, be able to frame, take a look at the lighting. I've already set up one basic lighting. That way I don't have to do a lot of the stuff with it. So it's just, going with the flow. I'm also going to put all of these photos so you can see. I'm going to create like a little video so you can keep that as reference and able to work with them. Does it have pockets?
Yeah.
Work with them. Okay, so you got to work with Okay, and you need to learn, for instance, how your body is. Like, for instance, she's got one side of her body on the right side. When she pops,
My butt.
see there, do it. See there, the bone that does that way, she do it the other way. You see, it doesn't nowhere near. And everybody is different. So you need to see what is your better body angle, not facial angle, but body angle. That's something that you need to do. One of the old-fashioned ways that you get to do that basically is old school. You can, normally we used to use a candle, but you can use whatever lantern that you have. Find yourself a mirror, put the candle in there, and then see yourself, your face, see what side of your face works better, or you can do the poses and see how your body works better. Not only does it, you're gonna learn about what is the best size for you, but what's gonna happen is that basically, because you know it looks better, because you feel pretty and empowered for it, you're gonna go like, damn, I look that. So then you're gonna get to that habit. You know, like I was kidding around when she went to McDonald's. I said, I want you to see like a model, because I know that she's been with me for so many years that, you know, and it's gonna get to a point that people are gonna like, what the hell is that girl doing? She's doing groceries, and you just, you know, walking like a model. You're gonna stand out without really realizing that you're already doing it, and you're like gonna attract the attention that you really need to be seen in there. So now, okay, switch it up now onto more of a high fashion. Okay, normally when I do a lot of high fashion photos, I tend to shoot up, and you have to be very careful with that, with the photographer in your poses, because you see right there, she's looking down at me. If I'm too low at the steep, it looks like the eyes are closed because she's looking down. So I normally have the girls look up, that way the eyes travel straight across, the light hits them, and the eyes look open. And the reason that I'm doing this is for high fashion, I want to make sure that I am exaggerating the pose. By shooting low, I'm making the person look taller, okay? But it could distort, okay? And once you get, I mean, her and I, God knows, have been working for years together, so I can get the whole idea of what it is that I'm working. And you don't see me, but I'm turning the camera. I'm creating angles, even though she's doing one way or the other. I'm shooting it from different angles from my camera, so it emphasizes the actual pose. And that goes whether you're doing a quinceañera, a model, like right there. Don't move that pose. You see? That's straight up, doesn't look bad. But now when I go in and I give it more of a fashion or angle, that's a lot more attractive. That's the kind of shots that you actually see on a magazine, because that's what they want. That's more appealing, that people are gonna like, wow, it's gonna draw your attention more when it's not just so, you see, like, do it again, lean back, you see, that's an amazing high fashion pose right there. Relax your shoulders, okay, and it's perfect. It goes back to being relatable. It goes back to pretty much knowing yourself and be genuine, be yourself. Like Savannah's case, I fell in love with her when I saw her, okay, because not only does she have that natural beauty, but the way that she just kept on falling, you know, one way or the other, I said, damn, that girl's got it. Okay, and that's the kind of thing that it is, because I see beyond how beautiful, how tall, and all that. I'm looking at other things. Sometimes you may be like, I'm staring at a girl and it's like, oh man, what a pervert, look at him, he's just checking her out. I'm just looking at, oh man, she's got pretty toes, or like, oh, what a cute bracelet she's got, and weird shit like that.
That's so real.
Yeah, I'm in my own zone. There, do that again, there. Okay, you see there, I go in and I do the same shot at an angle, and all of a sudden, a great shot, okay? And it takes time, it takes practice, like Isabella was saying. You know, I normally, you can ask Jana, I flood her with stuff because she's all in it. She's proven me that she's all. I flood her with ideas and I tell her, forget what she's wearing. If she's too sexy or whatever, just look at the pose. Look at the inner core of what I'm sending you. Okay, because there's a lot more to it, and then adjust it to your personality and to the outfit that you're wearing, because not every pose, okay, is good for every outfit. Okay, let it rip. You see how there were just minor little things that she's doing for the pose. Okay, welcome back to the Fashion Icon. Today we have a very special guest that we have over here. Actually, she's not a guest; she like practically owns the place. But anyhow, Isabela Toledo. Not only she's like my pride and joy. She's been with us since she's like 7 years old. My second daughter, and a superstar that has managed to kind of like blow up. It took a while. But once you engage, you're burning up the runway, you're all over, and I am so proud of you, and I'm happy to have you here to basically share some of your knowledge and some of the advices and get some tips on all that. So in a little short space, just because I know that she's got another engagement to go to, tell the girls a little bit about you, where you started, some of your accomplishments, where you're going, and then just give them some advice, and then we're going to see some advices about photo posing and runway and stuff like that.
Well, hello everybody. Some of you may know me. I'm Isabela Toledo. I am 19 years old. I've been modeling since I was like 6, so it's been 13 years. It's been very, very long. But like he said, it does take a long time for you to be able to get to where you are. I mean, it took me 13 years for me to actually be able to get into the industry of like working modeling jobs. I am currently Miss Teen Cuba. I leave in May to Malaysia to compete internationally representing Cuba. I did Miami Swim Week this past year for the first time, and Art Basel. Amazing experience. I mean, you get to like meet so many people. I got to meet Miss Florida USA, Miss USA, like these people that you like see online and you're like, oh my god, like they're so cool, I want to meet them. And now I was modeling with them, so I felt like very accomplished. But one thing I would always say, and it's what I always tell everybody, is do not be scared. Don't let your fear stop you from achieving your dreams, because all it's gonna do is hold you back. Instead, just go for it. Like, even if you mess up, it does not matter, because when we mess up, that's when you make mistakes, you learn from them, and you keep growing. I've made a lot of mistakes, and in pageantry world and in regular modeling world, they're very different. You have to learn a lot of things, but you can do it as long as like you believe in yourself and you're confident.
Okay, and you know, what advice would you give to, let's say, one of the girls that are getting into the modeling industry side? How should they prepare as far as training, photos, etc.?
You definitely have to perfect your walk, because when you go into castings, the first thing that they're looking at is how you project on a runway and how you carry yourself, also how you are with people. I mean, it's not just about your looks, but it's also about how you treat everybody that's around you. You always walk in with a huge smile on your face. How you'll be yourself when you walk into a room, because people are gonna like you for how you are and for who you are. And another thing I would say is you have to practice a lot of posing and things like that, because when it comes to castings, that's very, very important for them as well. I kind of say that models were kind of like a hanger. We're there to be showing off clothes and to sell the clothes. So it's not really about you, but it's about what you're wearing. Yeah. Also your composites, they're very important. You need a composite every time you go to a casting.
Yeah, one of the things, and we're going to be sending you like a PDF, like word by word, of how to get into the modeling industry and some of the things that you can do, because it's not about a pretty face anymore. It's about how relatable, how prepared you are. The next guest that is coming on, if you see Walina, she's only like 5'5", but her runway is so strong, okay, that it's like that. When she started, doing the modeling, Isabella, she wasn't, but now on her runway, it's like catch me if you can. I mean, she would just run over most girls like with a freight train, because it's not just so much about, it's like you say, be genuine, be relatable. The people like it. Modeling is not about the prettiest, sexiest, tallest girl anymore. It's about, can that girl relate to you? And when you're on a runway, it's not about you, not at all. Okay, not at all. It's about what you're wearing. You're there to make that garment the best in the world. You're there to make them want to buy it. And she's going to show you. She's going to do a little bit about different samples of pageant work. Walk versus modeling walk. Okay, you don't go into a runway, New York runway show and do all the turns and do all that, because they're gonna like, what is she doing? Because it's not seen professional. Because that's more towards pageant. Now, there are a lot of situations, like in some of the local shows in Miami Swim Weeks and all that you can incorporate one turn here, one turn there, and all that stuff. And that's okay, that's fine, okay? But you have to know where you are and be where you are, because that's very, very important, okay? So what has been, I think, your biggest, you've had a lot of great modeling moments, because I've seen it. I've been there every step of the way, working with your mom, who's like not only your biggest fan, but she's like kind of like momager, whatever you call it, because
Momager.
yeah, because she's the mom, but she's always there, and we always build like the biography, put the composites together, to put the photo shoots specifically for what it is. When she went to Miami Swim Week, we did something specifically targeted for Miami Swim Week, because if you take pageant photos to something like that, they're like,
it doesn't make
it's
sense,
not relatable. It's just not going to go. And now I've done 4 or 5 different types of composite. Then again, she's my number one B girl, and that's what makes it that you have to be prepared. That's what's going to take you to the nerve. So tell me, what is your question?
What's a composite?
A composite, we're going to show it to you later. We're going to show you a composite. Is called a Seth card originally, which is it's a card like 5.5 by 8.5. It's printed in the front and in the back. The front is just a beautiful natural headshot of you, okay? And on the back, it has about 5-6 different photos of you in different outfits, in different locations, with different projection. That is what's going to get you into the door, okay? And there is a system that we use I'm going to give it to you in writing. I'm not going to take time away from Isabella and showing you and demonstrating some of the things. So, but there's a lot more to it. So, as far as, tell me a little bit about the bigger jobs that you've done.
Well, for the ones that know me and for the ones that don't, I model for Jazzy Couture. So, to put it in a way where you guys would understand it, when you go to Macy's, let's say, in Macy's, they have a bunch of different designers. Macy's is not the designer of that clothes. They go to different designers and buy that merchandise, and then they're the ones that sell it. So basically, when you go to a boutique, there's a bunch of brands. There's Porsche and Scarlett. There's Giovanni. There's Sherry Hill. We all know those brands. Jazzy is one of them. They're the manufacturer of the brand that sell it in boutiques all around the world. I have the chance to be their face of the whole entire brand, and it's honestly been one of the biggest accomplishments I've ever done, because you see all of these huge pageant girls that we see on TikTok, and you see all these girls posting in Sherry Hill dresses in the middle of market, and you're like, I want to be there. And I literally had said that a year ago, and now I'm the face of one of those brands.
No, not only do they want to see, but the outfits that they see, when they see it, she's the one that's
selling it. Yeah.
By just wearing it.
I mean, you go to their website and I'm everywhere, and I'm like,
yeah,
this is
did
crazy.
So many photo shoots, location, studio, but it took a while. We had to prepare. We had to put together the composite, put together the biography. There's a lot of work that goes behind it.
Yep.
It's not like I'm beautiful, I'm tall, they're going to choose me. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so there's a lot more to it. When she said market, what she means is just that we have the Chicago Mart and
Atlanta
the
Mart.
Georgia Mart, and there's another Mart, in the West Coast, and basically that's where all of the designers go to show. Like a lot of people talk about New York Fashion Week and things like that. Well, this Mart are way more important than
New
the
York,
actual
yeah.
New York Fashion Week, because this is the people that are going to buy the clothes so they can show it off in New York. So these are the owner of the brands that you're dealing with. So that's why it's so much more important. And like, she mentioned before, Isabella mentioned before, networking. It's very important because, she may go to a casting and she's going to meet her, and then all of a sudden they're going to become friends, and then a month from now she's basically going to say, hey, Isa, we have a casting, for this and that, and all of a sudden she referred her to her, and then when you do that type of network, you start going through a lot of, kind of like a sequence of events that is going to connect with other people in there. So you don't see competition, you see collaboration, and that's what it's all about. Okay, just like I'm doing with Sarai. She's got her academy in Coral, Cape Coral, and one of the things that you guys now know, before that, her and I entered into a partnership where we're expanding out west, okay, to Cape Coral and Fort Myers and things like that, working with her, developing some of these girls to come up and be able to work with us and us with them so they can grow as we're growing, okay, and what it is. You had a question. What was your question?
How did you make it to like model and like be the face of them?
It took a lot. It took a lot. I mean, so basically, some of you guys may know Barbara Boutique, Bridal by Barbara. She has a prom dress store here in Miami. It's like a prom dress brand and bridal, all of it combined. She posted a casting for Giovanni. So I said, okay, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the casting. I did the casting, and it had been like 2 months and I had never heard back from Giovanni. And I was like, okay, well, next time I'll try again. Like, keep trying until you make it. Little did I know that Jazzy was watching me because I modeled for her boutique, and she started seeing videos and she was like, I want her. Like, we really want that girl. She's really pretty. And I was like, okay. I had a phone call with them. I talked to them, and my mom was like, well, Giovanni hasn't contacted you yet. And I was like, I'm going to say yes, because if they don't end up contacting me, then I'm going to lose an opportunity that I could have been there either way. So I took the opportunity. I went to Mart. They ended up contacting me for Giovanni at the end of it all, but I said no. I stuck with this brand and I'm going with this brand.
Yeah.
I already
She
said yes, so I'm
is
staying with them.
I
stayed with them, and
exception that she can say, I said no to Giovanni. Okay.
Yeah,
But it was a matter,
which is crazy because everyone sees Giovanni as like,
but it was a matter of
Maybe it is prom dress
principles,
brand.
which is one of the things that we show in that. Before that, what did we do? We created a bio, we put photos, we send it to them, they looked at it, they do video, this and that. So there's a lot of process that go into it, and she can actually say, it's like not out of, like I'm proud, no, principles, okay? You had the opportunity before anybody else, you took too long in making the decision. I had this opportunity,
Yeah.
now I'm with her, and now Jazzy has taken, control and gave her a 1-year modeling contract to do that. So that's the one thing that you also have to think about. Be loyal. Whoever gives you that opportunity, work with them, because that's going to be a lot of things. I see a lot of girls that someone else just shows them a little, thing, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go with that because they're trending rather. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but they didn't really do anything. Well, you left someone for maybe going with someone else, and it's not really doing anything.
don't
for
always
you.
go for like the bigger brand names, because just because it's a bigger brand name does not mean anything. You can go with somebody that's, Jazzy's been there for years, and it just doesn't have the same fame as Giovanni and Sherry Hill does, because they've blown up more on TikTok. But at the end of the day, they're loyal. I love working with them. They treat me like family basically, and I've made like such a good connection with them. And I'm going to my 3rd year now being with them. So
And they pay more.
I did not say that. Allegedly. But no, I mean, in this world, everyone says, okay, pageantry is very competitive. Modeling is competitive. Modeling, point blank, period, is competitive. The whole entire world is competitive. You go into market and, okay, the girls might not be competing, but the brands are. Because every brand wants to be the best brand. Giovanni wants to be better than Sherry Hill. Sherry Hill wants to be better than... Like, everybody wants to be better than everybody. And that's going to be in anything that you do, honestly, in this world.
Well, the whole thing is that there's a lot of similarities in pageantry and modeling. In pageantry, you want to win the crown. You're working to win the crown. In modeling, you're going to get the booking because
You wanna be
you're
the
going to
best.
get paid. Okay? So that's what it is. You have to learn the walk because of that. You have to have confidence in both.
And you need to know how to talk. You need to know how to project yourself and
Right.
speak, because you can be all pretty, but if you don't have anything up here to be able to speak and defend yourself, then there's nothing.
A lot of models nowadays, they're relying on, I'm beautiful, I'm tall, I'm gonna get hired. It doesn't work like that anymore. Okay? It's the most relatable, the most engageable. So we're gonna go ahead and close off a little bit of this talking part of it. I'm gonna have Isabella go ahead and demonstrate some of the photo poses, so just to give a little bit of an idea of the flow of what it is of a photo shoot. Then we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have her give you an example between pageant walk versus runway walk. Then all of you are actually gonna go up there and model, and she's gonna take notes, and I'm gonna take notes to some of the things that we can improve on, okay? And we're gonna make another weekend that is gonna be strictly for you to come in, and we're gonna do that one weekend, a group class, whereas to you are gonna be able to come in free of charge and practice some of the things that we think that you can practice, as well as that we're gonna tell you. That way you can take that home and be able to improve yourself. I would say, this whole seminar, it's about empowering you, ladies, giving you the tools for you to become a better model, a better beauty queen. It's all information that you can take home with you and become the best you can be. So we're gonna go ahead and turn everything around, and we're gonna get Isa on the other side so she can show you some of the flow of the modeling poses. We're actually gonna do some photos and things like that, and then after that we're gonna change into that. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Stay fashionable. Make sure that you hit that subscribe, likable, and share your comments. I want to know what you guys think about it, because it's important for us in order to continue to help every girl that's out there at this moment, girls, because we're talking about ladies here, and how we can help you, how we can empower you and guide you to become a better model or a better queen.